quickly right over here. We're going to get into some passing. Three main passing directions. Basically, you can think of it passing to the left, straight through to the right, though that's not exactly what's happening. We're actually passing to the left all three of those versions, but his hips are either going to be to the left, straight up, or to the right. So if they're seated or lying down, doesn't matter too much. If he's seated, there's a few things that will, throughout the day, go through a little bit, but for right now, I can grab one ankle and post on the shoulder, I can grab both ankles, and I want to try to get him to his back. And then I want to find this headquarters position right here, where I've got one of his legs stuffed between my legs, hand on his hip, kind of framing his leg out of the situation as much as possible here. And this arm can just be holding his leg inside. You should be able to take this leg out. The only thing you could do maybe with this leg is just straighten it through. Okay, perfect. Give me a really easy knee slice pass essentially. He's not going to want to do that, which means his leg is going to be kind of stuck right in this position. Plan A is going to be bringing his hips to the side that I'm passing towards. I'm going to try to bring my shin right across the inner thigh of him right here. I can push, I'll generally push the knee down until my thigh is heavily on that, sorry, my shin is heavily on that thigh, and then I don't really need my hand there anymore. I can start looking to get into underhook here. I want to make sure this arm doesn't get too carried away going for the underhook too soon, and I end up with a knee shield to have to deal with. So, very important, my hand stays on this hip, and I'm framing his thigh away here, and then I may wait for him to try to go for an underhook on his own right here, and as he goes for the underhook, I can drive my elbow inside, and then I want to get my shoulder to his armpit as soon as possible. Now there's no knee shield opportunity, and it's going to be very hard for him to get that underhook back as well. I'm going to go overhook with my other arm here, grabbing his tricep, pulling it up, and then I'm just going to slide my way through until my foot is all the way out from between his legs, and then I'm going to back my hips up, turning his hips away from me. I'm squaring up. I wedge my shoulder under his back, wedge my shoulder under his hips here, and we're going to finish. Ideally, in a perfect world, we finish right here. Oh, he's super stuck on that, so he can't even go neutral, let alone turn it into me. And then I can maybe get to C-pose or whatever from here, north, south, whatever you want to do basically from there. You can practice it kind of exaggerated like that, where they're turned all the way away. But at least live, they're at least not going to be turned all the way to you. They might be neutral, they might be a little bit away. But practicing it a little exaggerated is nice. Right here, this is the headquarters position right here. Option one is going to be this right here. He tries to go for an underhook. Maybe he doesn't try to go for an underhook. Maybe he just stays on his back. That's fine. I stay framing his leg away and dig my own underhook. Shoulder in to the armpit, overhook, and back it up. Squaring up right there. Simple enough, but let's go into some knee shield addressing as well. So end up here and we mess up, or he's pretty good at wiggling that knee shield in. No worries, we'll go over two ways to address the knee shield. My hands are still in the same position. Instead of pushing his knee down, I'm going to pull his knee up, and then I reset us right back in the same position, but now his knee shield, now I have another chance. Basically, just gave myself another chance to not mess this step up, and I can start going for a knee slice pass again from there. So it's just a reset. So his hips were all the way to the side. I square them back up, get my elbow inside, and then push them back down. So reset up and back down is option number one. Great option. He gets that knee in. Here, pull his knee up and push it right back down as soon as this elbow comes in. Let's say I can't do that for whatever reason, or maybe I like to be a little bit more like smash pass style. That's totally fine. One smash pass option. We went over around the back last week, I think. We're going to go more this week. We've been going just more focusing on the leg weave. So I'm going to come around under his leg and over his bottom leg, and I want my shoulder to be like a stake that I just dig through his knee into the ground. So all my weight is going to be on this shoulder. I go through his legs with my arms, and I'm going to go heavy with my right shoulder on this knee. I don't really care too much what happens with his bottom leg. I want to be heavy on that top leg, and I'm going to try to pass in front, and he's going to have to defend in some way. As he puts any defense at all to me passing this direction, I'll keep my weight on him with my upper body, but my hips and lower body will hop over behind his hips, and then I can start passing to the side over there. So again, we're here, gets his knee in, leg weave, heavy. Let's say he doesn't defend very effectively, me going this way, and just keep circling all the way through to north-south option to more grip as well. So you can make that your plan A or plan B, whatever from there. That's totally fine, but anytime the person does give you a decent amount of resistance passing this way, keep it simple. Just hop over behind Just very important as I hop behind it, I don't take my upper body weight up off of the ground as well, or off of him, and jump up with my whole body. Keep the upper body heavy, just your legs and hips hop over so that he can't follow you with that leg is the important part. So, regular knee slice pass, then have the person get that knee shield in, mess around with the reset to knee slice pass, and mess around with just the leg weave smash, circling, passing either direction. Any questions on those? Let's do it. 1, 2. Okay, guys, just sprinkle a little bonus in on today. So we're gonna get back on track. I promise on the passes, but there's a little opportunity for a bonus here today. So we're gonna go into submissions for a moment. We're gonna go right here. Let's say he gets his knee shield in. I'm gonna go leg weave. Everyone's gotten some practice with this now. Now from here, sprawl back. I'm looking to pass in front, and he can frame. He can do whatever he wants right here. But I'm looking to hug his head and then connect my hands right here. This is a cradle position in wrestling, awesome position in wrestling, and almost probably close to as awesome in jiu-jitsu as well. Now from here, of course, I'm not just looking to pin him. Instead, I'm going to use this cradle position to then, a lot of times the person, just in nature of this position, the person does not want to be in a cradle. Pretty standard reaction as the bottom guy. So a lot of times they'll bring their hands in to try to break your grip as well. So it's very common that he'll bring, especially that top hand, but both hands in. And so I'm going to allow him to break this grip, and then I'm going to come through and shoot right through for a Darce choke and lock up right here. And here we go, finishing right there. If for whatever reason he kept this arm out and did not want to like bring it in, well, it's going to be hard for him to break that grip probably for the original grip that I had around his head and his leg. But it's pretty much almost automatic that the person's going to try to extend their hips to break that grip, and they have hands. They're going to try to just pry that open. Him bringing his hand in even a little bit makes it very easy to switch from this grip to this grip, shooting through. So when I poke my arm that's around his arm, I'm gonna poke that hand out just behind the back of his neck. And now from here, I'm gonna slide, elbow to the ground, hand to the ceiling, grab my bicep, grab his shoulder blade. I wanna get my chest, or his tricep right in the middle of my chest here. And I can just finish normal side control, finish pressuring into him with my chest. I can also slide onto my hip, hook his leg, and then start leaning towards his head as well. We'll skip with just those two finishes. So you can kind of sprawl out and just drive forward into him to finish, or you can hook a leg and sit to a hip and kind of lean towards the head. You still want a good amount of chest pressure forward with either of those entries. So this submission option works really well off of this exact position, which is the leg weave off of the chin shield here. So here, connect your hands first, and then just settle into this position and just hold and wait just a moment, and their hands are going to start turning from frames to now gripping, trying to strip my grip essentially. And just let the grip strip. As soon as that arm comes in, that's totally fine. I'm going to come around his arm now instead of just around his leg. Connect your hands and shoot through. I can pull his head in a little bit more if I need a little bit more range. Depends on how long your arms are. And then I'm going to come right in here, get a strong grip on your bicep. Elbow should be pointing to this floor. Hand should be grabbing the shoulder blade, and then shift your chest so it's right on his tricep. His tricep right in the middle of my chest. And now I can just bear down and pressure forward to finish, or get some blood flow there. Or I sit to my hip and hook his leg, and I still want to pressure forward. I don't want to do all neck crank. This one can be a little bit more neck crank, but I pressure forward still and just do a little bit of a lean to the head. So try not to rely too much on the lean. Depends on how much neck crank you're comfortable with. I would prefer to be minimal neck crank, so I still want to pressure forward. A little bit of a lean, which definitely spices things up a little bit. So let's spend a few minutes since we have some extra time. Do a little bit of bonus here. They have the knee shield. Leg, knee, sprawl out. Connect your hands. Let them try to break the grip. Awesome. Lock it up from here. However you want to. You can also go into all sorts of other ways to finish as well. If you try to come up on top, you can go into like a guillotine style finish with it. But feel free to keep it pretty simple. Those are like the two most common finishes that I find is just from top side control. So either I sit to my hip, hook his leg, or I sprawl out and bear in right there. You want to see it all, Brad? You got a good perspective there. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Back to passing. If our partner is seated, we're going to go into a little X-pass type action now. If they're seated, a collar tie is really nice if you can find a collar tie grip, or if it's going to be a horse collar grip. And if the person on the bottom lets you have that grip for more than a few seconds, they're going to get pretty messed up essentially right here. So I've got a collar tie. I'm just going to go hand on the knee, and I'm going to do a side step that pushes me to the side and get just an automatic, basically pass to knee on belly. From here, I can just block his hip and melt into side control, melt into north-south, or boom, right here, or I can go right into mount or whatever from there. So whatever you like to do from knee on belly, feel free to just settle into side control. It's totally fine. Sometimes it happens literally that quickly, that easily, live. So just as a side note for the bottom guy, you generally don't want to let that person get to the collar tie. You should be exactly hand fighting, maybe even extending away and looking to not let me, as the top guy, control your posture so heavily. Collar ties, I would say, even more dangerous against a seated guy than against a standing. Standing person, you can control some posture decently. Seated, I can just do this, and now you can't even use his legs anymore. Basically useless, and I can just do an X pass, so make an X with my arms. If I try to do that and he falls back or whatever from here and he ends up being, now at least here for the body, there's a reason the body guy might just fall to their back instead and be like, nah, I don't want to play the seated game at this moment because now at least I can't collar tie him from here. Also, I can just, of course, force him onto his back. So if we end up with the person on his back, I'm going to go into, let's rotate this way, into the same headquarters position. Plan A, going into all the things we just did. If I can't get this knee down, plan B option is kicking, throw that leg by, and then replacing my leg right by his hip in that knee on belly position. There was a moment where there was an X with my arms, X pass. I'm going to settle into side control or go into mount, whatever you like to do from knee on belly. So we're here, same headquarters. I'm trying to get that plan A. No, boom, plan B. And this one could be your plan B. And maybe I can't get my leg out very effectively, and then I go, oh sorry, that could be your plan A, and maybe this one is your plan B. So the order is totally up to you. I'm showing it in probably my personal ideal order, which would be knee slice plan A every time. If they block that in any way, going into just an X pass right here, super simple. You can do the same thing from them seated, of course. Collar tie is awesome. You don't necessarily have to do it from a collar tie. You can go into just posting on his shoulder. It's just guide his legs by, side step around it, and then I replace my foot right by his shin so he can't immediately get his guard back. And then I'll replace my arm where my shin was if I want to settle into side control right there. Simple enough on that one. Let's give it a try. 1, 2. One more. This one we can do it all month. This is a good option. So again, from the very beginning, I said we're going to go one pass if I get his hips all the way to one side, one pass if his hips stay relatively upright, which is that last one. And then if he gets hips all the way to the opposite side, then we have another pass. So we're going to get him onto his back. For this one, same headquarters position right here. Plan A again was boom, right into the knee side splash. Plan B, kicking that leg free and coming into that knee on belly. Plan C, and it doesn't have to be exactly in that order, but if I can't get this knee to the ground on this side, and maybe I can't kick this leg free, I can instead go all the way to the other side. And I'll end up in this position right here. I want to try to get my shin stapling down his bottom shin, so don't get ahead of yourself and try to get to here. This is actually not a bad position. The problem is what you'll end up in is this position where I didn't actually get past his knee. I'm getting a little ahead of myself right here. So don't worry about getting above his knee. Just stay below his knee is totally fine. And from here, I can then work on relatively simple pass. I can use my forearm, my hand, or my opposite foot to pin this leg down. I need to pin it down somehow because if I just try to back step here, he's got my leg. It's gonna be tough. I can't do a mini knee slice with this leg either. So I just use my arm, sprawl this back step, pass his guard, or I'll use that arm again. This time, I'll go into a mini knee slice. So that just means I do like a knee slice pass, but it's just over his calves. So I call it a mini knee slice right here. Maybe I'll do the same thing with my hand. Don't just do this. That hand's gonna slip. make a C with your hand, you go right behind his knees, and then same kind of thing, sprawl this back. So if you feel like he's got some sort of grip on your foot with his feet, he probably will. With or without the hand grip here, I can just sprawl this out, back step, or sprawl it out, slice pass, and then my favorite, probably most of the time, is going to be using my far leg to go shin over his shins, and then I can back step, or my actual favorite full combo is here, double knee slice right there. So from the beginning, here, I get to this position, go right into the other shin, stapling, other knee comes up and slices right through, essentially right there. So again, from the top here, we're here, boom, I'm able to collapse his hips to this way, and maybe I'm able to do that because he's really does not want to be knee slice back. So it's not letting me push his hips to the other side. Boom, I can shove his hips to this side pretty easily then. And from here, I can use my hand, my arm, or my leg, and then I can back step, or I can bring both shins over, and then knee slice all the way through. One more time with the upper body involved here, here, forearm, knee slice or back step. You can do either of those passing variations, back step or mini knee slice, and then you can do any of the three lower leg controls, which is hand, forearm, behind the knee, or shin over the shin. Okay, the opposite knee. Any questions on that? Let's do it. 1, 2.